Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to give folks just a couple of moments to be able to log in and get ready for this session. We have a wonderful lineup of schools. See a good number of participants now joining us, so I think we'll go ahead and get started. Hello and welcome, everybody. My name is Vanessa. I'm going to be your facilitator for this session. We're excited to have you be part of the College to Career fairs. Your camera and microphone are currently off. That means you're muted, your video's off. The panelists can't see or hear you. So you may be wondering, well, how do I ask questions? How do I engage with these fabulous admissions reps? Well, we definitely want you to ask a lot of questions. We definitely want you to engage, but we want you to do so using the Q&A feature that's on the little toolbar there in the center of your screen. That's where you can pose your questions, and the various admissions reps who are here today will be happy to answer any and all of your questions. So definitely be ready to ask questions. There are more sessions affiliated with this virtual college fair, so be sure to look at the schedule on the website and sign up for more sessions. This session is currently being recorded, as are all sessions as part of this fair, and they'll be available at college2career.org. This is specifically the session on science and engineering, so we're very excited to have a full lineup of schools with opportunities that you may be interested in. Now, to get started, I'm very excited to introduce our first school, which is Wentworth Institute of Technology.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you again for joining, just echoing those sentiments. We appreciate you joining another Zoom call just to learn a little bit more about colleges and universities that you might be interested in. Like they mentioned, my name is Emily Casey. I am an admissions assistant director of admissions at Wentworth Institute of Technology, which is located in downtown Boston. And moving through these slides, again, specifically focusing today on the engineering and science fields. To introduce you to Wentworth, we were founded in 1904, and we really are a technical institution. So we do have a focus on those types of programs. Like I said, we're smaller, so we're about 4,400 total undergraduate students. We have an average class size of 18 and a 16-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So we really focus on letting our students build those close relationships with their professors, making sure that they're able to ask a question in the middle of maybe your introduction to engineering class or your calculus class. We want our students to have access to kind of that guidance and support that professors are able to offer students. 100% of our classes at Wentworth are taught by faculty. So we don't have teaching assistants or grad students that are leading the classes. It really is 100% of the time taught by your faculty members. Wentworth has 5 schools that our programs are divided between, especially given the kind of specific topic of engineering and science today. We can kind of focus in on 2 of them, but I do think it's worth knowing the other options that we do have here. So we have our School of Architecture and Design, our School of Computing and Data Science, our School of Engineering, School of Management, and School of Science and Humanities. Within the School of Engineering, we do offer 8 different disciplines of engineering. So that's going to be biological, biomedical, civil, computer, electrical, electromechanical, mechanical, and then we also have a program that is just engineering. So if you're not really sure which discipline you want to study, or maybe you have a couple different interests, or you haven't been exposed to any of them yet, it's a really great option to just come in as an engineering major. If you want to stay for that all 4 years, you are more than welcome to. There are tons of minors and concentrations as well that students can add into that if they do find a passion a little bit later on. But it's also pretty easy within that first year to move throughout any of those engineering disciplines. We have all of our students spend some time in a rotational program where they're actually studying a little bit of every field of engineering in that first year, just so that we make sure you're where you belong, that you're in the major that you want to be in, and that there's nowhere we need to move you to. Just to highlight our science program, It is an applied science major. It falls under the School of Science and Humanities, and it is qualified to be a pre-med track. So if any students are looking for that applied science program is a great fit for you. It's a combination of chemistry, biology, and physics. And probably the most important thing to know about Wentworth is we are a co-op institution. If you're not familiar with the term co-op, or maybe that's a newer word for you, co-op is pretty similar to an internship. At Wentworth, it's going to be full-time and it's going to be paid. So all of our students are required to complete 2 full semesters of a co-op. This happens in your junior year and in your senior year. Like I said, it's full-time, so you're working about 32 to 40 hours a week and you are not taking classes. You also are welcome to complete these co-ops anywhere. So if you're not familiar with the city of Boston, it is a really great spot for professional opportunities in science and engineering fields. However, you don't have to stay in Boston. So if there's a position maybe out on the West Coast or anywhere really around the country that you're interested in, you can live at home and commute to that job or find some housing out in a different city and live there. Because of this, we have really strong career placement rates. So 96% of our students do have either a job or placed in a graduate school program within 6 months of graduation. They have an average starting salary of $64,000. And then on top of that, we are ranked 3rd in the Northeast for career preparation. So this co-op program really is a centerpiece of the Wentworth education. This is that schedule. So you are still graduating in 4 years. You can just see you have your spring and your fall co-ops that we put there in your junior year. And then of course we are in the city of Boston. So if you're not familiar with the city of Boston, it really is the epitome of a college town. There are 35 colleges and universities in the city of Boston, and that's just within city limits. It comes out to be about 500,000 college students in the city of Boston. So really, truly in our neighborhood and even a little bit further into the city or out of the city, you're going to find activities and passions for college students everywhere you go. We have a nice campus. We guarantee housing for 4 years. And then we're also right in terms of public transportation, we're on 2 train lines within the city. To apply to us, you're using the common application, and these are the deadlines to be following. So November 15th is our first early action round 1 deadline, early action round 2 being in January, and regular decision in February. We are a test optional school. Everything else, if you do have questions about submitting application materials, you are welcome to reach out to me at any point. I am your specific admissions counselor and kind of point of contact throughout this process. So when questions come up, whether it's about Wentworth specifically, if you want to connect with a current student, connect with a faculty member, ask questions about submitting that application, you can feel free to reach out to me. I will put all of my information in the chat for you so that you can reach out. And like I said, thank you so much again for coming to this presentation. I will pass it back over to Vanessa.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Wentworth. I just want to, again, encourage students to use that Q&A feature to ask any questions to the admissions reps as you have those. Next up, I'd like to welcome University of Alaska Anchorage.
Right. Hello, y'all. My name is Fernando. I'm with the University of Alaska Anchorage. I'm an assistant director for student recruitment there. So I'll be presenting a little bit more directly onto our engineering program. But first, we're going to start off with a little bit of information about UAA and Anchorage, so you can know a little bit more about us and our location. So Anchorage is a population of about 300,000 people. So it's a nice kind of mid-sized town overall. It's kind of a mix of urban and also, we like to call it urban wild. So we see, over 100 miles of trails, more national parks than any other state. We're the largest state in the US, even bigger than Texas. We also have nearly 11,000 students on campus. So we are kind of a mid-sized institution as well. But we do retain 15 to 1 student faculty ratio. So we do still have a lot of small classes, especially once you get into your major. We've also been ranked #1 on return on long-term investment among our peer institutions. So our students are saying that, after they're graduated, they are getting, the return on investment of their tuition dollars long-term. We're also an open access university. So that means essentially we don't require an ACT or SAT. If you send them in, they could still help with course placement, but we just don't require it as a part of our regular admissions process. We also have some really cool study and kind of more adventure away programs. So full study abroad programs. We have something called North Exchange, where you can exchange with other institutions kind of in the northern part of the Arctic region. So we're talking places like Iceland, Russia, Sweden, Norway, as well as national student exchange. We can exchange to another institution in the US as well. A little bit about engineering. So you see a few pictures of our students there. So it's just a little bit of information before we hop into a lot deeper dive into the information. So we have a 100% job placement rate for engineering alums, which we are super proud of, that we've been able to get every single one of our students placed either in grad programs or directly into employment. If y'all don't know, engineering is one of the hottest fields inside Alaska. So a lot of our students are getting jobs even right after graduation. We have really great relationships with BP, ConocoPhillips. ConocoPhillips actually even donated an entire building to us. Alaska Airlines, Microsoft, and then Prove Health Services, which is another organization that's pretty big up here in Alaska. A little bit more specifically about engineering at UNI, so kind of the program highlights, so to speak. So we offer civil, electrical, mechanical, and computer science and systems engineering. So you have quite a lot of options. Between all of these programs, we have about 600 students in the program proper. So it is a very large program at our institution. About 70% of our students complete an internship before graduation. This next number I really love. It said 74% of our students are offered a job before graduation, and approximately 30% of those students had 3 or more job offers. So our students are really well set when it comes to job placement. And again, that 100% placement rate, we are extremely happy with that right now. Alums, we currently have, just to name a couple big ones, Tesla, Google, ConocoPhillips, about a 60-40 split when it comes to students staying in Alaska or going elsewhere. Like I mentioned, because there's such a high demand here, whether it be with the oil industry or many of the other industries that we have here in Alaska, a lot of students decide to stay. But again, about 40% of our students are returning down to lower 48 or even going abroad. So you have a lot of really cool opportunities. But again, one of the big reasons why a lot of students are staying here is because in engineering nowadays, it has become more of the norm that you need a master's before actually going into the field. It's a little different out here in Alaska. There is such a high demand that there are opportunities for employment, even with just the bachelor's. That's again why so many of our students, 74% of them, are getting those job offers before even graduating. We also have the really cool special engineering only tutoring center as well. So we do have free tutoring for all students, but then we also have free tutoring specifically just for those engineering students, because obviously those courses can get a little bit tough. So we want to make sure that we fully support our students kind of throughout that entire process. A little information about our engineering facilities. Again, I can't get into every single thing they offer, so I just kind of put a couple of the highlights on here. So we have 3 different buildings where our engineering program is. 2 of them are specific to engineering, and the ConocoPhillips Integrated Science Building is a mix of engineering and then also some math and a few other things are mixed in there. But for the engineering computational building, which was renovated in 2016, so a lot of things are super, pretty new. We have things like the prototyping and 3D print lab, the environmental degradation lab, and so many more different labs in there. The engineering and industry building, which was built in 2015. So again, when it comes to, new things, when it comes to colleges, these are brand new, and when most colleges have buildings that are 40, 50 years old. This has over 20 research and teaching laboratories, our robotics innovation center, where our students create a lot of these really awesome robots. The ConocoPhillips structures testing lab, where you get to test a lot of those like different things that you're designing and building. And again, even more things in the ConocoPhillips Integrated Science Building, but we don't really have time to go through every single thing. Res Life as well. Really cool thing about it is that every single student gets their own private room. It's the exact same flat cost for absolutely everybody. You do share your space with your suite mate though, so you will have like a common room, like a shared living room that you will be sharing, and you do only share your bathroom with your suite mate. So you're not sharing it with like a whole hall or anything like that. It's also really close to the classes and campus amenities to walking distance. So everything is super close by. And then finally, last thing I like mentioning before we finish is just the costs. Most of y'all will probably qualify for our WUI tuition, which is about just under $10,000 in tuition, which tends to be pretty competitive to a lot of institutions. And that's it. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to use that Q&A feature, and I will pass it back on to our facilitator.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, University of Alaska Anchorage. Moving on, we have our next college, which is Concordia University.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm excited that Fernando is here, so I don't feel so alone as one of the few universities north of the 49th parallel, because I'm actually here from Canada, representing Concordia University. My name is Arwen Fleming, and I've been our US recruiter for several years now, so I'm very excited to tell you today about some of our math and engineering programs, but also to tell you more about the benefits of studying in Canada, in case that's not something that you've considered before. So if you're wondering where Concordia University is located in Canada, we're actually in the eastern part in the province of Quebec, which is a French-speaking region of Canada, but we're actually an English-speaking university, and there's no requirement to speak French to speak at our school. It's fully in English. You can live and work in Montreal here, and it's only a 5.5-hour flight away. And I think that something that a lot of students in California aren't aware of is just how affordable and high quality the education is in Canada. So we're seeing a lot of students coming here more and more from California because of how it compares, especially in price, to the Cal State system. So as you'll see here, like the total cost of attendance at the current exchange rate is between about $23,000 to $29,000 US. So that's total cost. That's looking at your tuition, your housing, your books, your room and board. You can also bring FAFSA with you to Concordia University. And your degree is totally portable. So if you're doing your Bachelor of Engineering degree here, or you're doing your Bachelor of Science, you can still come back to the US and enter the workforce. Your degree is fully internationally recognized and portable. So even if you're thinking about going to med school or law school after your undergrad, that's also something you don't need to worry about. This is a recognized undergraduate degree, just the same as a US one. And another cool thing is that if you're an American student coming here to Canada, you can also stay on your study permit for up to 3 years after you graduate to work here and build on all the connections that you have been working on during your studies. So to tell you a little bit more about us as a school, we're located in Montreal, and we're really proud to be here and officially one of the best student cities in the world, and currently ranked #1 in North America for student experience. So it's not surprising. I live here in Montreal. It is a beautiful city to be in. We're one of the largest cities in Canada, and also one of the most international in terms of our population. Much like Boston, tons of colleges and universities here. So if you're looking to meet other young people, it has a very useful vibe. Lots of people come here from all over the world to study. It's also really easy to get around. So public transit, biking, it has a very European vibe. So a really cool mix between old world architecture and new. There's a little bakery, a little like grocery stores on every street. So it's very easy to kind of walk around and live, and quite cheap in terms of the housing and cost of living overall. So we love to be here. In terms of Concordia, we're one of the youngest schools in Canada and currently ranked #1 for universities under 50 years old here in Canada. We're also one of the largest with more than 50,000 students, and about 37,000 of those students are undergraduates. About 20% are international. That said, even though we're a large school, undergraduate learning is a huge focus for us. So we're a highly ranked innovative research university, but at the same time, it's a key priority for our university. So our class sizes are also quite small. It's 26:1 for the student to professor ratio, and 75% of your classes are going to be 60 or fewer students. So if you're coming into the sciences or engineering, 200 students is like a large class for us. We don't do like the 600-person amphitheater. You're really going to have a lot of direct contact with your professors who are faculty members here at Concordia, and you're going to get lots of attention and opportunities to be involved in research projects and hands-on learning during your studies. So I want to talk a little bit about our campuses. We have two. It's a really awesome mix. We have our downtown campus, the Sir George Williams, which is where you're going to find engineering and computer science, as well as our fine arts, business, and a lot of humanities and social sciences. We also have a residence downtown. We have a residence on both campus, so you can live on either one, because Loyola is our other campus, and it's just 20 minutes west of our downtown campus. And that's where you're going to find programs like psychology, biology, all of our natural sciences, exercise science, and kinesiology, of course, our varsity sports, and our brand new applied science hub, which is home to our chemical and materials engineering and bioinformatics program in systems and information biology. So this is where you'll be if you're studying mostly the natural sciences, whereas downtown is where you're going to find more of the engineering and computer science programs. And so another hallmark of Canadian education is this emphasis on learning by experiencing. So if you want to get involved in research from your first year onward, we have funding for you. That's also integrated directly into our classes. If you want to be doing co-op, we offer that in most of our majors. So not just in engineering and business, but also in most of our science, humanities, and social sciences programs too. So it's a great opportunity if you're looking to try out different aspects of your field and get paid work experience during your studies, but also to try out different aspects of your field. So if you want to get involved in synthetic biology, if you're interested in data science, if you're interested in looking at adapting bacteria to improve drug delivery in the body, we have internships that specialize in those areas. And we also have a really active student culture. So if you want to get involved in our electric car racing, as part of our mechanical and electrical engineering programs, if you want to join Space Concordia and work on Mars rovers to launch rockets actually like into the stratosphere, that's something that you're welcome to come and join us. It's always, every program that you're in, you're going to have that kind of hands-on experience. So to talk about our degree requirements, I just want to talk about that really quickly because it's super different from the US schools. We are grades based. We don't require the SAT or the ACT, and you apply directly to our school. So there's no general essay, there's no general letters of recommendation. It's going to be your school profile and transcript, and you apply directly to concordia.ca. So if you have any questions, I'll post my contact information in the chat now. Thanks, Vanessa.
Thank you so much, Concordia. Next up, we have Michigan Technological University.
Hi, everyone. Excuse my voice. I've been at college fairs and I think my vocal cords just haven't quite caught up with me. So bear with me as I talk. A little bit about Michigan Tech. We are located in Houghton, Michigan, which is in the Upper Peninsula, where that yellow dot is on the map above Wisconsin. So we are about a 7-hour drive from the Chicagoland area, to give you a little bit of a perspective. Houghton is a relatively small town. We have about 20,000 people with the community of Michigan Tech and with the surrounding area. We are the safest college town in the nation, so you know that you're going to be safe when you arrive. And we have a relatively tight-knit community on and off campus. A lot of our students come from downstate Michigan, so they're actually coming from a pretty far distance. And as you all would be coming from, you wouldn't have as many opportunities to go home on the weekends. And therefore, our students get really creative with different events and activities that they do on campus. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Just some other fun facts about Michigan Tech. So 7,000 students total. We have about 5,700 undergrads. Our student to faculty ratio is 12:1, and our average class size is about 25. Average lab size is 21. We want to make sure you as a student are getting involved, working with the components, the equipment, whatever it might be, so you're ready to hit the ground running when you get that first full-time job offer, or you're working in a co-op or an internship experience. We have a wide range of programs that students study in, but about 80% of our programs do fall under science, technology, engineering, and math, with 60% of our programs within our College of Engineering. We have about 13 different fields of engineering, as well as general engineering. So if you aren't quite sure which direction you want to go in, you can start your first year there. The curriculum across the board is pretty similar, so it's not going to set you behind by any means. And it gives you time to explore and figure out which direction you want to go in. We have 3 math majors on campus, including mathematics with 6 different concentrations offered, statistics, and a math and computer science degree. A few projects and research that are currently ongoing at Michigan Tech include a variety of ground robots and drones, underwater autonomous vehicles, autonomous surface vessels, on and off-road vehicles, and advanced driver assistance systems. The Ivor 3, which is pictured on the left on this slide, is an autonomous underwater vehicle that allows us to explore the Great Lakes, which we are about 20 minutes away from. And it can go on missions of about 8 hours and dive over 100 meters to provide images used in the lab. It was recently contracted to take images of 2 shipwrecks that were recently found in the Great Lakes. Some really cool things that students have been able to get involved with on campus. Research in math includes modeling combustion and diesel engines, using advanced statistics to find genetic basis for complex diseases, and developing the communication theories for future quantum computers. Students can get involved with our enterprise programs, which are a combination of a student organization and a business. They allow students to work together in a team setting in their own lab. And those areas include robotics, game design, aerospace, and advanced motorsports. Students have the ability to tinker and explore in our general campus makerspace, as well as our new Plexus Innovation Lab, which is an electronics makerspace within our computer and electrical engineering department. This space is open to all majors, has a large laser printer, 3D printer, and mimics on a small scale what is seen out in industry. There's a wide range of companies who recruit our students. We host one of the largest one-day career fairs in the country, one during each semester. These have been virtual for the past few semesters, which has allowed us to invite some smaller companies that normally aren't able to travel up to Michigan Tech to recruit our students. The number and variety of companies that recruit our students says a lot about how prepared our students are once they graduate. There are a lot of opportunities to get out and explore around Michigan Tech. Some people like to say we have more trees than people. We get over 200 inches of snow annually. Our students celebrate by participating in Winter Carnival, which is our big winter and snow festival in February, where they build huge elaborate snow sculptures and basically just celebrate anything related to snow and ice. Students ski and snowboard for free at our own ski home Mount Ripley. And broomball is super popular on campus. It's basically hockey without ice skates, and students take brooms and wrap them with duct tape to make sticks. When there isn't snow on the ground, students participate in kayaking, canoeing, checking out waterfalls, paddleboarding, and anything to do out in the outdoors. We are Division II for athletics, which does include our co-ed esports team, Division I for men's ice hockey, and over 240 student organizations that range from visual and performing arts to community service to religious groups. And it's really easy to start your own student organization if you don't see something on the list that interests you. Just get together a group of friends, you work with the student activities office, and you have a group up and running on campus. About our application process, it's free and it's online. There's no essays or letters of recommendation. We require an official transcript from your high school, and we are test optional for 2022. That means you don't need to send us the ACT or SAT if you don't want to. And just a few ways to stay connected. You can join our mailing list, visit in person, and connect with me. You can also scan the QR code and get connected to our mailing list that way. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Michigan Technological University. Last but not least, we have University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Hi, everyone. My name is Daniel Mendoza. I'm the Director of Undergraduate Recruitment here in the College of Engineering. I'm going to jump around this presentation a little bit. This one's usually a longer one, but because of time constraints, we'll keep it pretty short. Really quickly, again, University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Yes, we do have an institution in Las Vegas. It's actually a very, very exciting time to be part of the university because as the city's been growing, the university's been growing. And because we're really the only big fish in the pond, right? There's a lot of opportunities for our students, not just in engineering, but all of our majors across campus. I'm going to quickly go over some data points just to kind of give you a feel for the student population within the College of Engineering here. And most importantly, I just want to point out two quick things. Well, actually, before I get to that, the university itself, we have about 33,000 undergraduate students, and the College of Engineering makes up close to 3,000 of those students. We have a 40-to-1 faculty-student ratio here. And the really important thing that I like to point out that we're very proud of is the fact that we're in the top 2% of most cited scientists in the world. So I think it speaks to the experience, expertise that you have here on campus and that our students are able to tap into. Our college has been, and the university has been growing over the last 10 years, with the only exception being this last cohort for engineering especially. But we're pretty confident we'll bounce right back for the next year. I do want to point out our gender because this is an area that we're really focusing in on. And this isn't unique to UNLV and our College of Engineering. It's very much an issue across the country and perhaps globally, but we do not have enough women in STEM, in engineering and computer science. So we need more. And so we're out there trying to recruit more females in engineering specifically and computer science. So if you're listening, reach out. We definitely want you to be a part of the college. And then as far as like a breakdown of our student body and ethnicity, we are proud to announce that recently we tied with 2 or 3 other institutions for most diverse in our country. So we're extremely proud of that. It's something that plays a role with where we are in Las Vegas and being a very diverse city. But I think the College of Engineering is pretty well represented there with the largest 3 groups being white, Asian, and Hispanic. And again, another area we're trying to work on is our student population with Black and African American students. We definitely want to increase that. So hopefully that gives you a general feel for what the college looks like here at UNLV. Just really quickly, I'll go over some of the programs. So this is everything that you can pursue as far as undergraduate programs. We have civil and environmental engineering. Quite important here, being in the desert and water treatment. We have mechanical engineering. A question I get quite often is aerospace. We don't have that as an undergraduate program, but we do have it as a graduate program. A lot of those students end up being in mechanical engineering and taking a few aerospace classes and getting involved in clubs. Construction management, a combination of business and engineering. A lot of opportunity for that. Electrical engineering, computer science, and computer engineering. CS happens to be our largest program here at the College of Engineering. And probably one of the most unique programs here on our campus is entertainment engineering and design. We're pretty much the pioneers of this program. When you look across the country, there's a few other institutions that offer something similar, but I would say no one is better situated than where we are, being here in the entertainment capital of the world. We have a lot of opportunities and industry partners for our students to get internships with, to get careers with. Even if you don't have an interest in settling here forever, you can get your career started here because most of these industries and or companies are international. So you can start off with your career here, internship opportunities, and move along. We offer some minors that are housed here. Like I said earlier, grad school, probably the 2 most popular programs that I get asked about that we do not have is biomedical and aerospace, but we do have them as graduate programs. The other thing I'll just really quickly talk about, some things that our students are heavily involved in and I think helps us stand apart. We are a fairly young institution. We just turned 64 a couple of weeks ago. So in the grand scheme of things, that's incredibly young, but we are making waves. We're doing some really great things. We've already become Research 1 institution, and the College of Engineering plays a great role in that. We've done really well in this invite-only international competition, which is Solar Decathlon, where students are tasked with building an energy efficient home, and the theme of that home changes every single year. As you can see on your screen, we've placed really high in this competition, and we're beating out some of the best known institutions in the world. So really proud of that. It's a combination of engineering students, architecture students, business students. So it's a real life experience that our students can get. Our undergraduate students are doing great work here, whether they're working with Lockheed Martin and testing materials to send to Mars, or whether they're doing things here in the community and helping young girls like Haley here who has Poland syndrome. We had some undergraduate students design and 3D print a hand for her. She now holds the world record for throwing the first pitch at every major league stadium here in the MLB. And then we just have a lot of students that get involved in things. So again, we're young. So if you're driven and really want to leave a mark, you can do that here at UNLV in the College of Engineering. So a lot of opportunities here. Capstone projects for senior design is a great, probably my favorite event. And really quickly, I'll just show you our building so you can at least see some of that. I guess the most exciting thing is the fact that we're bringing our advanced engineering studies building here, breaking ground in fall of 2022. I think I'm running out of time, so I'm just going to quickly put on my contact information, and I'll be around if anybody has any follow-up questions. But I also oversee a team of engineering student ambassadors. So if you ever want to get student perspective, these are great students to talk to, and they represent pretty much every single one of our majors. So I will end it there. Thank you.
Wonderful. I'd like to invite all of our schools to come back on camera now and rejoin us. And yeah, including University of Nevada, if you want to join us, rejoin us again. I have just a couple of questions I'd like to have everyone answer. So my first question is, what's one thing you want students here today to remember about your school? One thing you want them to remember, and we'll start with Wentworth.
Yeah, I think I highlighted this in the presentation, but the hands-on learning experiences and experiential learning through specifically our co-op program, I would say is the most important thing to know. If you're a student who would much rather be in a studio or a lab or a workshop or a space that looks like that instead of, a lecture or a classroom, I think we really, that's what we expect from our students at Wentworth across the board. So just keep in mind that hands-on learning is a huge part of what we do, and the co-op program is really the centerpiece of that.
All right, and I think I'm next. So with UAA up in Anchorage, I'd say probably the biggest thing that I would say to remember from our presentation would be, I think it'd be a mix of affordability, but then also outcomes. How our tuition, is fairly low, especially for students from California, again, just under $10,000 a year. And then the outcomes for especially students in an engineering program has gotten them, right now we are still sitting at 100% placement rate for those students for the last 4 years. So we're almost, guaranteed to find you a really high paying job if you come with us and stick with us for those 4 years.
Right. Thank you.
And again, from Concordia University, I think the things to remember with us is we're really looking for students who are excited about interdisciplinary work, who are excited to begin their own projects and collaborate on real world projects. So if you want to get involved in the next Mars rover, if you want to design the next amazing drug delivery service, this is something that we're looking for students that are motivated, that are collaborative, and are looking for an international experience.
At Michigan Tech, I think with our size of our institution, which I mentioned during our presentation, just over 7,000 students, most of those students are undergrads. And so we're big enough that things such as activities, athletics, and undergraduate research are going on, but we're small enough that students have those opportunities to participate if they'd like to.
And University of Nevada.
Sorry, that's me. Daniel here again from UNLV. Man, it's a good question. I think I'm gonna use 2 words, and I'm gonna say opportunity and excitement. It's one of the reasons I moved out here and took a job here at UNLV is because the city's growing, the university's growing. A lot of industries are either 100% moving here or building bases out here. And so our students get to take advantage of those opportunities. I know Las Vegas is pretty much viewed as the Strip and just partying, but it has become a city. We have professional teams out here that are doing some great things. We have Tesla out here, we have Boring Company out here. And again, those are opportunities for our students.
Awesome. And one more question. What's one myth you want to debunk about the college admissions process?
Yeah, I will start again. I don't know if it's a myth, but it's, I think students feel as if we're looking for one type of student, that there's only one perfect fit, that you have to spend half your weekends volunteering, or, you have to be on the robotics team to get into an engineering program. And that's not the case. Obviously, some of those things are great if you actually do them. I think we're looking for students to be authentic. And, if gaming is what you spend your time doing, I'm interested in knowing that. If theater is your thing, you can do the arts and do engineering. You don't have to be, captain of the robotics team in order to be successful in an engineering or a science field. So I think really being yourself and thinking that you need to be someone else would be the myth that I'm trying to bust here. And we really do want you to be yourself.
Yeah, I would tag along and say that people seem to think that you need to stay in state. That's the only affordable option, but that really is a myth. There's so many both out of state, and I know we have one, out of the country option here, which can be very affordable options. So really kind of expand your horizons beyond just, I know many of you are from California, but beyond just that state. There's so many, fantastic institutions that can still be very affordable for you.
Absolutely. I feel like Fernando took my point. It's a good one. But I think something with high school students I see a lot is that I think sometimes you feel like you have to know exactly what you want to do and that you have to have all the answers. And, I'd really encourage you that this is the time to be asking questions, and that university is a time for you to really be exploring and figuring out what it is that you love and what you want to learn. So that's what we're here for as representatives. So if you're trying to figure out where is the best place for you to learn and where you can ask questions and experiment, that's what this is about. You don't have to be perfect or know it all right now.
I would echo everything that's been said so far, definitely. One thing that I would add would be that it's okay if you end up not coming to our institution. We want to make sure it's a good fit for you. So don't be worried about making connections with the admissions staff at the universities you're interested in and talking to them and having conversations and letting us know if it's not the right fit, so we can stop contacting you and make sure that you're where you need to be, and it's okay. We're not going to get mad at you.
Yeah, everything everyone said, ditto, 100%. I really connected with what Arwen said about it's okay not knowing what you want to do when you get here, or even being nervous about selecting a major. I think a lot of pressure is put on that decision, and then you're almost feeling like I have to do this and I have to see it through all the way. Just picking something within engineering can be difficult, right? There's a lot of different areas to get involved in. So, take your time that freshman year to explore, look into clubs, look into getting involved and getting as much information as you can about the world of engineering and computer science. What you might find often is it's more helpful to know what you don't like before you find out the one thing you really, really love. It's nice to just say, nope, don't like this, don't like this, don't like this, and then slowly find what you really want to do.
Great advice from all of our admissions reps. It's certainly been a pleasure hearing from each of you about your institution. You shared with such passion. I hope students, I encourage the students who are here to be able to look into each of these schools as well as others as they're exploring their interest in math, science, and engineering. Thank you once again for joining our session. As you close out of the session, there's going to be a quick survey, just 5 questions. So we'd love it if you can take that survey. Don't forget to sign up for more sessions, and the recording for this session and others will be available at college2career.org. Thank you everyone for joining us, and have a great rest of your day. Bye everyone.